Welcome to Warriors Rock on Fox 8 and ABC 23.
Hello, I'm Rocky Blyer. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today as we honor and celebrate our veterans. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the next hour of entertainment. You'll meet area veterans, listen to some fabulous music, all while renewing your patriotism. Gary Rakin's Warriors Rock, started here in Western Pennsylvania, is a national tour that is performed for crowds on the deck of the USS Midway in San Diego, the Midwest, down in the East Coast shores of Florida, and back up to New York. And today, they're here with you and me, performing in 2021 for Johnstown, Pennsylvania. After experiencing a trying 2020 year, let's all join hands together and continue supporting our country's veterans. Many only think of veterans as those who are deployed fighting for our freedoms abroad. I want to remind you who it was and still is assisting in COVID testing rollouts, helping clean up and rebuild our national disasters, and protecting our capital. It is the National Guard. The strength of our military is and will always be a part of protecting Americans in our everyday life. Throughout the show, you will get a text-it number on the screen that will allow you to donate from the comfort of your own home. 100% of the money donated by texting supports the Veteran Community Initiative organization based in Johnstown. The VCI has been assisting local veterans and their families when they need it for 28 years now.
Greetings. I am Tom Caulfield, President and CEO of VCI. It is our pleasure and privilege to continue assisting and serving our local veterans, their families, and our communities, as we have done the past 28 years, including during this pandemic. God bless America.
The Warriors Rock Experience scripts music around stories told by our veterans in their own words. As a proud veteran myself who served our country, I know that every individual story is special. We are the land of the free because of the brave. Now, let us start the music. Studio E-Horns, take it away.
Join Mr. Gary Rakin, our leader, in singing one of our favorite patriotic songs, America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above and cry
From sea to shining sea, I want to introduce you to our first veteran of the show, a World War II Navy veteran who served for 35 years after his deployment in the reserves. Please meet Harry Muncer.
Hello, my name's Harry Muncer. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran from World War II, and after boot camp I was stationed out on Long Island at the very end there at Montauk Point. The Navy had a submarine or a torpedo testing range out there because the submarines at the time were having problems with the torpedoes. So they shipped a bunch of us out there to take care of some of the retired torpedo men that they called back in for World War II. And I was stationed out there for quite a few months, I think 6 or more. And I figured, well, sailors belong at sea, so I asked for sea duty and ended up getting a fleet tanker, the USS Winooski. And we were running gasoline and oil up the East Coast from Baytown, Texas to the North Atlantic. One day the chief engineer came to me and he said, Muncer, I got to send you to subchaser school in Miami. I thought, well, great. My dad was in subchasers in World War I. So I said, okay, I'll go. But I went down there and they were giving me a school for boilers. So after that, I got new construction up in Whitestone, New York. It was on a fleet tug. She was a big ocean-going rescue tug, and we had a 3-inch 50 gun on the bow and 20 millimeters along the stack. 2 qualified divers on her, all kind of firefighting equipment. And they shipped us down to Trinidad. And we were based down there in the Caribbean area for a while. Didn't see any submarines or anything, but anyhow, I was in from 1943 to 46, 3 years plus. And after the war then, I stayed in reserve for 35 years. Well, the song that would remind me of home maybe was when we were kids, or, you know, and I quit high school to go join the Navy, but at that time there was all this Glenn Miller music, and I think In the Mood was one of the most popular songs at that time. I'd be sleeping out on the deck on the tug or going through the tropical moonlight nights down in the Caribbean, and that would think of you know, Glenn Miller and all those songs.
Hey, Harry, thanks for your service, and this song is for you.
enjoyed your song, Harry, and now Gary and the Studio E Band would like to perform a song that Gary sang many times in the Johnstown, Altoona area when he performed with the recording group The Vogues.
There is someone walking behind you. Turn around, look at me. And there's someone watching your footsteps. Turn around, look at me. There is someone who really needs you. It's my heart in my hand. Turn around, look at me. Understand that there's someone to stand beside you. Turn around, look at me. And there's someone to love and guide you. Turn around, look at me. Oh, I've waited, but I'll wait forever for you to come to me. Look at someone who really loves you, yeah, loves you. Turn around, look at me. Turn around.
Although Gary is no longer with the Vogues, he's never stopped performing and has kept his career alive and thriving. And boy, are we glad that he did. Our next veteran served in the Army in Vietnam. His story involves pizza. Now let's listen to Ray Zambola's story.
My name is Raymond Zambola. I was in the service in 1961 when Kennedy was president. I just got married. I was married maybe 8 months and I got drafted. So when I got in the service, I told Mom to be a truck driver. Well, when I got there, they didn't need truck drivers, and I was a baker before I went there, Hasselrig in JOHNSTOWN. So I said, okay, I'll be a cook. So I took my training for cook for like 2 months. So we went out and field cooking, and that was a little rougher. But we was all getting ready for war. So they all went out and KP, after KP they went down, they went out and traded in their fields. And all come back, and most of them did good. So after that, about a year before I got out, I started cooking for the officers' mess because they liked my cooking. Because when I first went in there, nobody knew nothing about pizza hardly. Just come out, pizza just come out. And my buddy that I hung around with, his mother made pizzas. And before I left, I said, give me your recipe for pizzas. I said, I might be able to use that. So I started making pizzas. And I started having all kind of people coming to my barracks because they like pizzas. I became a little bit famous in a way. So I like that. I got good with KPs. The guy gave him pizza. They picked me up, took me to work, brought me back. Real nice. I made sergeant right before I got out. I was only in here 2 years. Then when I got out, I went back to my job at Harrison Boyer, which I had like 4 years service in there, and they didn't want to take me back. And I called the union up. They said, you have to take him back. He went to the service. You have to take him back. So they took me back. And I was there about 15 years, and I made boss. And that song, Fools Rush In, Elvis just come out. Well, he was out before I got out. I mean, he wasn't in the service when I was in. But that song reminded me of my wife, actually.
Here's a very beautiful love song. I'm very happy to do it for you, Ray. Mr. Elvis Presley. Wise men say only fools running, for I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? For I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't help falling in love with you. For I can't help falling in love with you.
In our fast-paced and ever-changing world, making the right decision matters more than ever before. 3Wire is the first choice of government agencies and corporations seeking technology solutions that maximize outcomes while reducing costs. And 3Wire harnesses that expertise to provide scalable care coordination 24/7, 365, strengthening our human interactions to connect, protect, and secure. Stay ahead of the curve of change with the right insights for the right outcomes. 3Wire.
A fan favorite, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, sung by Gary and Stephanie.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby,
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no
mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough.
to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember that day I set you free? I told you you could always count on me, girl. From this day on, I made a vow I'll be there in a hurry, somewhere, somehow.
Ain't no mountain high enough for sure. Our next veteran enlisted in the service one day before the attack on 9/11. He has served a tour in Iraq and Kuwait, and he still serves as a major in the 443rd Attachment here in Johnstown. And while I'm talking about his service to the people, he is currently a Pennsylvania State Trooper, serving out of the Somerset Barracks. I am proud to introduce to you Eric Hauser.
Eric Hauser. I'm a major in the United States Army. I currently serve with the 443rd Engineer Facility Attachment here on Goucher Street. I enlisted in the military the day before 9/11, and I continue to serve with approximately less than 2 years to go until I reached my 20-year retirement. I enlisted and went to basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Right after that, I direct commissioned and became an officer in the United States Army, a second lieutenant. Soon after that, I went to officer basic course, and right out of there, got deployed to Iraq for my first deployment. Made first lieutenant, came back, became company commander up in the great little city and borough of Brookville, Pennsylvania, and then came back to the battalion and ran the S4, which is a logistics section, and then deployed to Kuwait as a deputy director of DPW, ran a base of about 5,000 soldiers, and I just recently came back in 2018 from a deployment in Syria and Iraq, serving as the operations officer, the S3 for the 458th Engineer Battalion. So this place called the USA is a song that I only heard a couple of times while I was deployed, but it meant a lot to me. Because as I told all my soldiers before we left, I said, a couple of things are gonna happen. You're gonna come back a changed person, hopefully for the better. Or you're gonna come back a changed person for the worse, because you didn't know how to handle some adversity and how to ask for help, because we're a team. But hopefully you come back knowing that you really appreciate your mother and your father, your husband, your wife, your brothers, sisters, all your friends, and the things that you thought were important weren't, but you now know what they are. Because it's not about money. It tends to be about relationships and the friendships that we have and the way we actually live our lives. So the song really meant a lot to me because, and it spoke to me, like, man, I am just really blessed to be an American. And I wish more people would understand and comprehend how lucky and fortunate we are and blessed.
Hey Eric, I was so happy to learn this song for you. These days you can't get a man to work. People getting married and they still flirt. Don't pledge allegiance to our flag like they used to do. Good men are willing to give their lives. Our politicians take away our rights, saying they know best what's good for you. These days dads are always gone. Mama's still there, but she's on her phone. Grandma's raising the kids, and the devil is too. If you ask me, this whole world has gone to hell. I speak the truth, but these days the truth won't sell. I bleed red, white, and blue, but my ways you just can't change. Right or wrong, I'd give my life to this place called USA. There's no other place that I'd rather live. Love my wife and teach my kids about the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm sick and tired of people putting it down. If you don't like it here, get the heck out of town. Go and find some place you love. That's fine with me. And I'm sick and tired of it. They're riding the fence, either riding with them or you're riding with us. Make up your mind which side you're on.
Aren't you enjoying this great tribute concert? You know, music definitely is the best therapy for ensuring a good mood. We are here to honor our veterans, and while introducing our next veteran, I just want to share with you in our viewing audience that her well-known husband, Carlton Hasselrig, who sadly passed away in July, was so very, very proud of his wife for her service. While Carlton made the Johnstown community proud with his extraordinary wrestling and football career, Michelle Hasselrig, too, makes us very proud with her brave service in the Navy. Please meet Michelle Hasselrig.
Hello, my name is Michelle Hasselrig. I'm from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I was in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1996. Well, my stepfather was in the Army, and my father-in-law was in the Army, and I knew him when I was little. So he gave me some insight about it. But I wanted to go because I wanted my independence, and I wanted to learn and see the world. I had to go to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba for a few months, so I did leave the country right away. And then after that, I stayed in Norfolk, Virginia. Well, the day I signed up, when I was ready to go, I was going to be an operations specialist, which is a person that is in the ship all the time at the helm, helping people out. When I found that out, I didn't think I would like to do that. So then I became a cook. When you're a cook in the Navy, there's several levels of cooks. We have the regular cooks for the officer people, officers, and then the CO and the XO. So there's actually 4 kitchens. I was with all the crew. That's where I cooked at first. And there's about 23 cooks, and then the seamen, which is 100 of them, work for us. So they help us. So we have little helpers. After I got out the Navy, my dream was to always, either own my own restaurant or do catering, and it came true. And I owned a Taco Shell's, which is CHELLZ, because my name is Michelle. And it's a little takeout, delivery joint, but I love it. And we do catering, and it's everything I always wanted. And I can thank the Navy for that. I remember leaving to go to the Navy, and I looked back and my sister was crying, and we used to always pretend to be singers in our bedroom. And the song that reminds me of everything is Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, because we used to take pencils as microphones and sing it.
Hi, this is Gloria Gaynor. I am so pleased and proud to be a part of the Warriors Rock Concert. Just want to take a second to thank the wonderful veterans for all that you do, all that you give, and all that you sacrifice. Thank you so much. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong. And I learned how to get along, so now you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live, and I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive.
Thank you to our friend Gloria Gaynor. And now we're going to take you home.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they'll fill you with fear. The troubles, they might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. makes my home.
Here's a cheek-to-cheek song. Grab the one you love and do a little dance.
One of my favorite Nat King Cole songs. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you'll adore. And love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was meant for me and you. Sean Bell. Is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you'll adore. And love is all that I can give to you. Love is just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was meant for me and you. Love was meant for me.
How wonderful for Gloria Gaynor to send that video, I Will Survive, to be a part of the Warriors rock team. Thank you, Gloria. Our next veteran served in the Marines and is the Community Operations Director at VCI. During his service, Josh held a very interesting job. Let's have Josh Hauser tell us a little bit about it.
My name is Josh Hauser. I served in the United States Marine Corps from May of 2001 until March of 2015. 2 combat tours to Iraq, as well as a humanitarian assistance tour, where I also served in Thailand and Sri Lanka. I served as a still photographer, I wrote for a newspaper, I was a radio DJ, and a television news anchor. I was known to go on individual assignments where I was sent by myself, especially when I was sent on the humanitarian assistance mission, to which I effectively made my way to Thailand, and then I hitchhiked to other countries in order to cover what our military personnel were doing in the relief efforts. Being a combat correspondent, I couldn't have asked for a better occupation in the military. I had no idea what it was going to be, but I was amazed as to what my experience was. I wrote for a newspaper at a base in Japan, was my first duty assignment. Then I traveled around. Assignments were always popping up, solo assignments to cover humanitarian relief operations in Thailand and Sri Lanka. I went to Iraq twice, 2 combat tours there to cover operations on the ground. Sometimes it's a solo, very lonely existence, so to speak, because you hop from unit to unit. But sometimes, it's still, no matter what, in the military, it's a team effort. So those bonds that you make are really strong, and because we're a small occupational field, sometimes those bonds are even stronger. It was an incredible experience to be able to meet all the people that I've met over the years. The song that I picked is called "The Story" by Brandi Carlile. Transitioning from the military to the civilian life is not an easy thing. The military becomes your family in this regimen. But my wife and I, we had met when we were teenagers at summer camp. And the memory of my wife was like a little keepsake that I carried with me throughout all my experiences. So the song, "The Story," talks about the story of one's life and the things that you go through, the struggles, the ups and the downs, and what's really important to you. And my wife is really important to me and helped me make that transition to go from Staff Sergeant Hauser back to Mr. Hauser. And she's still my keepsake, and I couldn't ask for anything else.
Josh, it was an honor and a pleasure learning this song for you. All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything. You got no one to tell them to. It's true. I was made for you. I climbed across the mountain tops, swam all across the ocean blue. I crossed all the lines and I broke all the rules. But baby, I broke them all for you. Oh, because even when I was flat broke, you made me feel like $1,000,000. You do. I was made for you. You do. Yeah, I was made for you. You do. I was made for
Next is a song that all ages just love. He just can't take his eyes off of you.
This is for all you out there in Johnstown. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd feel like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. As long as love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There are no words to compare. The thought of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. And if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby. You want the lonely nights, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray, oh, pretty baby. Now that I found you, stay, let me love you, baby.
I think that song, Gary, is one of everyone's favorites. Okay, next is an Army veteran who now works as a chef in the area. Let's hear from James Salter.
Hello, my name is James T. Salter. Served in the United States Army, 1984 to 1993. My primary duties was a Patriot missile system technician. I supplied the power that powered the radar station, the engagement control station, and the launchers for the Patriot missile system. Primary duties was maintain the turbine, the jet engines that powered the system. 5 o'clock in the morning is when the day starts. 5 o'clock in the afternoon is when it ends. You know, they're long days, but you know, time goes fast. You know, when you work hard. Once I started training soldiers, once I started meeting soldiers from all walks of life, you know, you have to adjust. It's not people you're used to. You have this may be from Utah, someone may be from Florida, but I love soldiers. I love the connection that we have and training the soldiers. And I know one thing about, I love my soldiers. In their own kind of way, they love me. 5 o'clock in the morning, the day starts. Between that time, you're together the whole day. Everything you do is together. You're training, you're eating, everything is together. So when you do actually deploy, you're deploying with your family. The song that reminded me so much of home is because my platoon sergeant, it reminded him of his home. So it's sort of a motivational thing. He would play that song every single morning. And for some reason, as we got it, when I would hear it, I instantly, got motivated. I would think of home. I would think of the people who I'm over there serving for. It's just one of those songs. So every time I hear it, it takes me back not only to him and how much he loved us as soldiers, but just the whole atmosphere of what he did. It changed the atmosphere. And so every time I hear it, it just gives me a certain feeling.
Hey James, this song's for you.
Song for you to tap your feet, wave your arms, and sing along to. The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion takes a snooze tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps
Gary, that falsetto is unbelievable. And Stephanie, those high notes, wow. Now our next veteran served in the Air Force as well as the Army National Guard. So it's so fascinating to hear about the different jobs that our men and women had when they served. Let's meet Randy Knupp and hear about what his job was.
Hello, my name is Randy Knupp. I was in the Air Force from 1972 to 1976. I was also in the Army National Guard, 1991 through 1993. When I was in the Air Force, I was stationed all over the United States. I got shipped over to Thailand back in '73. And the war was supposedly over, but it really wasn't over yet. Our planes were still flying in the Nam, but you just didn't hear about it though. But I had some good memories over there in Thailand since I'm a Vietnam veteran. I worked in the parachute business. We packed parachutes and survival equipment, took care of life rafts and stuff like that. Then I got shipped to the paint shop temporarily, working in the paint shop because they needed people, extra people. And it turned out I did all the painting. And guess what? We got voted the best corrosion control shop in the Pacific. I did all the painting. I felt real good about that. Another thing I remember about Thailand was when the Thai guards went on strike, then they had security police augmentees take their place, and I was one of those guys. I had to guard the perimeter of the base from 7 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning. And that was an interesting experience. Looking out over a field, and those bushes out there looked like they were moving after a while. Left Thailand, and I got shipped to Travis Air Force Base in California. And that's where I got discharged out of that base there. Then I went to school and I studied music. I was a musician. Then I got in that rock and roll band. We tried to get a record deal because we were pretty good, so we thought. Guess what? We never got a record deal. So our band broke up, then I moved back to my hometown of Lincoln, Pennsylvania. I chose the song Old Time Rock and Roll because after I got out of the service, disco was becoming popular, and I just didn't like that kind of music. And that's why then Old Time Rock and Roll came out. I thought that's my song. That song always brought back memories.
Randy, here's some old time rock and roll. Just take those old records off the shelf. I'd rather sit and listen by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Come on, Bill. Wanna hear him play a tango? I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only one show way to give it a go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. Call me you really, call me what you will. Say I'm old fashioned, say I'm over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll.
While we do our part by staying home, others do their part by leaving theirs. 3-Wire Systems and Dell EMC would like to provide a special thanks to federal employees, federal agencies, and our military for fighting COVID-19 from the front lines. We salute you. 3-Wire Systems in partnership with Dell EMC, providing mission-critical solutions to the federal government.
Planning your upcoming wedding? Aces in Johnstown's historic Cambria City is an all-inclusive wedding ceremony and reception venue. If you are looking for an all-inclusive wedding planning experience, call Molly today to see the newly renovated Aces in Johnstown.
Come on and join us on the Love Train.
All over the world, come on, join hands and run. Start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands and run. Start a love train, love train. The next stop that we make this train keeps on riding, riding on through. Well, well, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, this train, join hands, start a love train, love train. All of your brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Johnstown too. Please don't miss this train at the station, 'cause if you miss it,
Every American needs to hop on the love train. People all over the world, join hands. Start the love train. Love train. Now, our last veteran today served in the Marines while stationed far, far from home in Japan. I'm pleased to introduce to you Mark Arcurio.
Hello, my name is Mark Arcurio. I was in the United States Marine Corps from 1978, 1982 active, 2 years inactive. I was deployed to Japan, Iwakuni, Japan, on an air base in 1981 to 1982. Usually when you woke up, you got up, you did your PT, usually did 3 miles, went running. Even if you weren't in formation, you usually did it by yourself because that's what you did all the time. Then you kind of went on your way to going to work like a regular job. I used to be a 3521 mechanic. In the air wing, I used to work on the Oshkosh fire trucks for putting out fires if there was any crashes on the runway. Well, I think anybody should join the military, if they either volunteered or if they had you go in, because I think it makes you a better person, gives you more responsibility. I would have never got to go the places I went. I went to a lot of places when I was I went to Japan, Korea, Philippines. Those opportunities would have never been there if I just went to a job. And once Marine, always Marine. So every Marine we see, we talk to each other. So when I was on an air base, you know, you're far away from home, you're in Japan. You know, you're thinking about people at home, thinking about the United States. You're in a different country. You kind of want to be back in the United States, but you know you're serving your country well. You're over there. So I'd get on the seawall and I would sit there some evenings after I did a run and look out over the ocean and think about the lights that's going down in the city and being back home.
Mark, thank you for your service. And here's your song by Journey. It's called Lights.
God Bless the USA has become an American anthem, and with that, we'll close out today's show. Now, if you've never been to one of the live Warriors Rock concerts, for the final performance, Gary and the band are joined by all the veterans and active military in attendance on stage. As the words are sung, everybody in attendance waves flags in unison. as we thank our servicemen and women for their service and their stories. As we watch today, you at home, join along and sing with us, and never ever forget to thank the veterans of our country when you see them.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause that flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and made that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, there's pride in every American's heart, and it's time we stand and say, and I'm proud.
We thank you for welcoming us into your home, the privilege of your time, and assisting us in supporting our local veterans. Be well, and God bless America.
God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still.